Hello everyone, and we have the last 4 problems to our review sample final, so let's begin. Question 22 wants us to solve the inequality and sketch the solution on the number line. This question on your final, solve it in the blue booklet, and you're going to sketch the solution in your blue booklet. Every semester I have some folks who sketch this on the graph paper. The graph paper is only for the line graph, so please, when you complete this inequality question, graph your number line in the blue booklet. So we have -5 plus 2x greater than or equals to 5x minus 17. We are solving for x, so I'm going to minus 5x on both sides. I'm going to bring down the -5. When the signs are different, I subtract, which is 3x. Keep the sign of the larger, so it's negative. Greater than or equals, this is canceled, -17. Remember, we're solving for x, so I'm going to get rid of the -5. I'm going to add 5 to both sides. Negative 3x greater than or equals to, again, the signs are different, so I subtract, which gives me 12. Keep the sign of the larger number. Now here's where you have to pay special attention. I'm going to divide my -3x by -3. Now when you divide your variable by a negative, the inequality sign will change direction. So it's going to become a less than or equals. This becomes x, and this becomes +4. So your answer is x less than or equals to 4. And when you draw it on the number line, you don't have to be fancy. I usually just put a 0. You can indicate this is 1, 2, 3, and this is where 4 is. Now because it's less than or equals, your circle will be filled in. So it'll be a closed circle. And again, because it's less than, your arrow should be going in this direction. That's all I need for you on the day of the departmental final. I just need to see that x is less than or equals to 4, and I need to see your graph. Question 23 is a new addition to the final. It wants us to write an equation to represent the following problem and then solve the equation. I know in class when we did this, I didn't want you to solve, but here you have to. If 10 times a number is increased by 4, so if 10 times a number, that would be 10x, is increased by 4, which will be +4, the result is, that is your equal, 12 less than 9 times the number. Now remember, when you see that word than, you must write in reverse. So the 9 times a number, which will be 9x, would be your first term, and then minus 12. And that's it. Now you only write in reverse when you see that word than. Notice this first statement here, I wrote it as is because I did not see the word than. So I just wrote 10 times a number, 10x, increase, which is an addition, by 4. However, on the right hand side, I saw that keyword than, and it made me have to write my algebraic expression in reverse, which means 9 times the number was first, minus 12. And then we're going to solve. This is variables on both sides. So I'm going to minus 9x on both sides. This will give me x plus 4 equals to -12. Solving for x, I'm going to subtract 4 on both sides. X has a value of -16. Please be careful of your computation and always use your calculator to double check your calculations. Okay, last question. 24 is a new addition, so we must write the equation of the line through the points -1, -3, and 1, -7 in slope-intercept form. So your first step, we don't know our slope. We were given 2 points, so we're going to find the slope. Remember, the slope formula is y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. And remember, you can label your points to remember, since this is my first point. This is x1 and this is y1. And this will be x2 and this is y2. Now the little subscript is just telling you which point it is. This is my first point. This is my second point. And I'm going to put it in my formula. So this will be negative 7. I'm going to take away, but notice my y1 is negative 3 over, and then I have 1, take away, negative 1. When the signs are different, I subtract, which would give me 4. Keep the sign larger, so that's negative 4 over 1 plus 1 is 2. Now, since the denominator is smaller, I know 2 can divide 4, and a positive with a negative will give me a negative, and 4 divided by 2 is 2. So my slope is negative 2. I'm now going to take my equation of the line, which is y equals mx plus b, which is in slope-intercept form. Now I'm going to pick a point. Alright, I'm going to choose this one. The reason I'm choosing this one is because it only has one negative. So this is my x and this is my y. So y here is negative 7. I found my slope, which is negative 2. My x value is 1. And now I'm going to find b. So this will be negative 7 equals negative 2 plus b. Solving for b, I'm going to add 2 to both sides. This goes. So b equals negative 5. On the test, please don't leave your answer like this. They want you to write the equation. So you have y equals mx plus b. The only things we're going to replace are the m and the b. So it's going to be y equals, my m is negative 2. There's my x. And then my b is negative 5. So I'm just going to write negative 5. You don't need to write plus minus 5. Your b is going to be negative 5. Because if you write this, y equals to negative 2x plus and then the negative 5. Remember here, when you bring these two together, a positive times a negative is a negative. So you still get y equals to negative 2x minus 5. And this is your answer. 25 is our Pythagorean theorem. Notice you have the right triangle. They want you to solve for x. My right angle is pointing to the x, so I know my x here is my c. Remember the formula is a squared plus b squared equals to c squared. And the 2 and the 4 are your legs. So here this would be 4 squared plus 2 squared equals x squared. 16 plus 4 equals x squared. 16 plus 4 is 20 equals x squared. But they want us to find x. So your next step is you have to take the square root of both sides. So I'm taking the square root of 20 and the square root of x squared. So I end up with the square root of 20 equals to x. But you can't leave your answer as the square root of 20. As they said, you must put it in the simplest radical form. So the factors of 20, and the best factors to use is 4 times 5 because 4 is perfect. 2 times 10 isn't a good choice because 2 is not perfect and 10 is not perfect. And most of the time in class, you saw that when it was 20, we did 4 times 5. The square root of 4 is 2 because it's perfect, so there's no radical sign. But we can't take the square root of 5. That's not perfect, so it stays in the radical 5, and that's your value for x. So the answer that I'm going to be looking for on your final is 2 radical 5. Good luck in your final examination.